Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Hollywood is burning down and women are most affected by this.
According to this article.
According to this article. You found this morning?
Yes. It was, well, I was like, wait. So coronavirus is sexist now?
Coronavirus is sexist. It is targeting all the female-led movies.
No, that's not what this article says. But I'm just like, really... Like, of all the things that are going on in the world, this is what you're going to do an article about.
Yes, because this is where we're at right now. I mean, we're talking about all these media outlets that are basically burning down because the ad revenue is drying up. And so this is like the last gasp, I think, of these kinds of articles. But I just think it's funny because there's so many people out of work.
Right
now.
And they're going on about, it was supposed to, okay, here's the headline. 2020 was supposed to be the year women ruled the box office. Then the coronavirus pandemic happened.
How very dare it?
How dare it, misogynistic coronavirus. Okay, the point of this whole article is basically, we're going to have a lot of female-led movies, either by actresses or by people, the directors, women behind the camera. And because the coronavirus is hitting, people are afraid now that they're not going to do well, they're not going to perform, and they're not going to get their due time in the box office. And then people are going to say, look, female-led movies failed. Well, you know what? A whole shit ton of movies are going to fail this year. Yeah. I am sorry, because I don't care whether it's female-led or not. They're all being piled on top of each other for later this year and next year. No movie's going to do fantastically well.
No, they're saying the box office is going to be the worst since 1998. That's if the theaters even open back up. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. AMC is probably going to file for bankruptcy. Cinemark had to borrow a bunch of money. Theaters are shut down. The longer this goes on, the more likely it is that they will not reopen. Everybody is going to be affected by this.
And they're talking about July, and it might be open by July. That's possible because some places are trying to get them back, things back open again. But if it does, even if it opens in July, I'm expecting there to be like a lot of, you have to wear a mask, you have to stay so far from people or whatever. How many people are going to go to the movie theater where you're right next to a bunch of people coughing? I wouldn't go.
Yeah, and if it's like it was overseas, they space people out.
And then people got sick again.
So let's they did. So they had to shut the theaters down again. So let's look at how this is going to play out. A good portion of movie theaters probably will not open back up again. And when they do open up again, they're going to be spacing people out. So we're talking a fraction of the box office that would have been there had things proceeded as normal.
Right. So everything's going to be down.
Right.
And then later on in the year, when these movies come back online and people are going to go back to theaters again because it'll probably be okay to go back.
Yeah.
They're opening bam, bam, bam. I just did an article yesterday on Pirates and Princesses about this. You don't have to go look it up. It's fine. And it was about Disney's films, and they're pretty much after July. It opens in July with Mulan. Out of the 19 weekends, 14 of them have Disney movies opening against each other, and we're gonna see this, for the second half of this year, clear into next year. Movies are pushed back, and they're gonna be opening boom, 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 boom against everybody else.
Yeah, and it is going to be a dog pile. It's a log jam. I mean, this is why I think Sony moved a bunch of its movies back. I actually have a Sony insider who told me flat out that this is why they pushed all their movies back to next year, because they knew it was going to be a log jam this year, that their movies had no chance.
That's why Ghostbusters is next year.
Yeah, which is a female-led movie that's not on this list.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't fit the narrative probably. But what's going to happen is when you have this many movies, pushed back against each other, people are going to pick the one they wanted to see the most. And some of these movies aren't probably going to perform as well. And they probably wouldn't have, even if they wouldn't have performed well normally, they're going to use this as an excuse as to why they didn't perform well.
Yeah, well, okay, this is what got me about this article before we even get into it. The very first paragraph, they're throwing Birds of Prey in with Mulan and Black Widow and Wonder Woman. Mulan, Black Widow, and Wonder Woman all got pushed back. Birds of Prey had a full run at the theaters, and it did not do that well.
But she's retroactively trying to blame it. Like we keep saying, they're doing it on comics, already doing articles about how coronavirus killed comics, even though comics was already going down already. They're blaming everything on this. And then, Mulan, Black Widow, and Wonder Woman are all pushed back. Eternals is going to next year. And they star female leads or directed by women, but, so do a lot of other movies have female leads in them, or they have, they're shared leads.
Ghostbusters Afterlife, That's a weird one because basically what people are so butthurt about Ghostbusters Afterlife is they're pretending Ghostbusters 2016 never happened, but they really can't throw a lot of shade at it either because it does, the lead is a little girl, but it's also directed by Jason Reitman, who's the son of,
right,
the guy who did the original Ghostbusters movies, so they just kind of ignore it. They just don't mention it.
They just step over it, yeah. So basically this article is about how, the women aren't going to get their due because this year was going to be the year of women, and now they're not going to get that in the box office. Well, they even bring up The Invisible Man. That was another one that was out before all the stuff started, and it didn't do great. And they're trying to throw those in there with movies that haven't come out. Is it going to happen that these movies are going to go against each other and it's going to handicap them? Yes, it's going to happen to every movie, women-led, female-led, or otherwise. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be, and I'm sorry.
I want to point out here a couple of things. I'm going to mansplain. I'm going to mansplain right over you. A couple of these movies are sequels to female-led films that were actually very successful years ago.
Right.
Wonder Woman was very successful. A lot of people didn't expect it to be because the DCEU wasn't doing very well, but it had legs. It did well. The movie was good. I didn't even know it was directed by a woman until like a month later. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Quiet Place, kind of a sleeper hit, did really well. Halloween, again, remember back in the 70s and 80s, we had Halloween and we had Aliens and we had these female-led movies.
That never happened because according to these journalists, that never happened.
I'm just putting that out there.
But then the movies we're talking about here, though, is Underwater. I didn't even know this was out.
I've never even heard of it.
I heard of it, I think, but I didn't even know it came out. Didn't care. It would have got released already. Birds of Prey already got released. Invisible Man already had gotten released. Now, it might have got cut short because it was later on, but they'd all been released already. Quiet Place is pushed back to later this year. Mulan's pushed back to later this year. New Mutants, I don't think it has a new release date. I think that's one of the ones that they don't have a release date for.
Yeah, that one I could totally see them. They're saying they're not going to, but it's been pushed back so many times. I could see them just dumping it onto.
I have absolutely no desire to see it. I don't care.
I don't care either.
Black Widow is later this year. Wonder Woman's later this year. Eternals has been moved to next year. I don't know when they probably moved this to next year also. But the movies are still coming out. They're just good coming out at different times.
I'm trying to understand what the point of it. Basically, the point is that things should have been normal, that the coronavirus should not have been sexist, and it shouldn't have picked this year to happen.
Right.
Because it decided, because it is such a sexist thing, it decided this year was the year it was going to ruin the careers of all these female directors.
Right, and the female actors. Well, they never, to be fair, the person never says that it's a sexist thing.
No.
The article
implies it heavily.
So
right?
These are the dates changing on some of these. Quiet Place is now moved to September. Mulan's in July, late July. Black Widow is November, of course. Wonder Woman is going to be in August. And then the Eternals got pushed clear back to next year. Basically, a lot of movies. It's not just these female-led movies. All the movies are being pushed back. They're all going to trip over each other. They're all going to they have Soul. A lot of people are like, what's Soul? Soul is the new Pixar movie.
I'm actually excited. Everybody's like, I'm not excited.
I don't care about it.
Well, here's the thing. I like Pixar and I like jazz. So
right. You can go see it.
It's Pixar and jazz.
I am going to go see Godzilla vs. Kong, which is about being the same time.
Oh, shit.
So,
yeah, see, it's going to be...
Guess which one's going to win? In my household, it's going to be Godzilla. You can go to the other one. Me and the kids are going to go to
Godzilla too. Oh, damn it. I hate that they're doing this.
People are going to be like, and plus people don't have the money that they used to have to go spend money on all these movies. And it used to be that you can, okay, this movie I want to see this month, this one next month, I can, afford one movie a month. Well, now they're like, boom, boom, boom. Oh, there's like 5 movies like next week that I want to see. What do I pick?
So I'm gonna actually kind of try to crawl inside of her headspace here and see what the actual fear. The fear is because there were so many female-led movies this year, because that, thing we can't talk, well, we've been talking about, the coronavirus happened. Because of that, people are going to look at these movies because they're going to fail, because the box office is going to be down regardless, and be like, female-led movies don't make money, let's not make any more.
But that's that's not the takeaway most people are going
I
to
don't think so. I think everybody is understanding that this thing is catastrophic on so many levels.
But the movies she's given examples of, these are all ones I think, well, maybe Mulan so much, but the other ones are ones I think will do well.
Squid King, actually, Quiet Place 2 was like the movie he was looking forward to the most. You loved the first one.
Well, I was looking to Ghostbusters. I think he was looking forward to that one too. But that's on the list because, it doesn't fit the narrative.
That makes me angry, actually, because I'm like, it technically is a... But no, it's a female-led movie that replaces another female-led movie.
It's an ensemble cast. It's not really female-led, but neither is Eternals. It's not just women-led.
No.
But they might have a female director on it. I don't even know because it's like, so it's not enough. It has to be a female director too. But these ones, I think you and Mulan will probably do okay. I think that they'll hold their own. I don't think these are ones you have to be concerned about. I really don't think these are things, because a lot of the things they're going to be up against, I don't think are as big in some cases.
Right, because these are actually some of the biggest movies coming out, or were scheduled to come out this year. Now, here's the thing, again, that retroactive, throwing Birds of Prey in there, it's like, no, let's not rewrite history, people. Birds of Prey had a month and a half to perform, and it did not.
I'll give them Invisible Man because that really did cut it right on the edge. But Birds of Prey, no. It had its run. It didn't do well. It was never going to release in China.
No.
And at the time of its release, China was the one that was being hit the hardest with it, with the cinema shutdown. It was never going to release there anyway. So for the love of God, stop spinning this load of shit.
So I think what could potentially happen then is they might release them theatrically if they don't perform very well. Any movie, whether it's these or other movies. Then they might just dump them on digital like a month or two later.
Honestly, and I hate to say it, but I think they should just put them out. They should, because of the logjam that's coming.
Yeah. Because
of the issues that are coming, and because of the fact that the movie theaters are going to be they're going to be cut down, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you like it is. There are some chains aren't going to make it. I think it's theater. The chain makes it. Some of the smaller theaters and the smaller areas are going to be cut. You're not going to have as many theaters moving forward. I understand why they want to go through theaters first, but at this point, I think they'd be better off to not. I think they'd be better off to put it on digital. I'm just going to say it.
It's going to take, they're saying like 2 years for things to normalize again. People's habits might change. People get used to, look, what's going to happen is people are going to get used to watching these movies at home first. They might not want to go back to the theater. I
personally would watch it at home first. I really would.
I mean, there's a lot to be said about it. I think where I could see the theaters, sort of becoming like I said before about Dave & Buster's, where, you can play all these games at home, but there's a difference actually going to an arcade and socializing. I could see movie theaters being like, you can watch these movies at home, but we're going to have, film festivals or something that it's going to be an experience. It's going to be more of an experience than just going to the matinee and watching a movie. It is going to be a niche thing, and they're going to be probably more independently owned theaters that kind of maybe cater to certain audiences.
It could be, but I'm just saying right now, the theaters are going to be different on the other side of this. And some of these movies aren't going to perform because there might not be theaters to put them in, or as many theaters to put them in, and the theaters that are going to get put in, they might have restrictions in place. So they're already handicapped for so many other reasons. And then they're worried that people are going to take away from this, that female-led movies don't do well. And that's not what people are going to take away from this.
Now, here's the big picture, and this is where, look, we've got, this is LAist, which is actually a pretty known LA site, pretty well known, right? One, they have to beg for money because they're not getting any advertising revenue, but they're talking about how rampant unemployment is in Hollywood, and there are other articles talking about how hard it's going to be to open Hollywood up. So there might be a log jam now, but like the stuff coming down it might be a long time until we get like new stuff anyway.
Well, a lot of the stuff that would be coming like next year, the year after, that kind of thing that were already scheduled for that are being delayed now.
Yeah.
On streaming too, because they have the stuff shut down. That it is going to cause a delay. So I mean, I guess some of these movies they're pushing back next year will fill a little bit of that in.
Yeah.
But a lot of where they're putting it is early enough in the year that that wasn't going to help. Like it's going to be later that year, the next year, where we're going to see a lot of the movies get hit.
Isn't it kind of ironic that, and I'm not happy about it, I'm just pointing it out, that this whole thing feels like the snap from the MCU, and the next phase of the MCU probably won't happen until the snap is over.
Yeah, well,
it's just kind of weird.
Everything on pause.
Everything's paused. So we're basically going to lose, Hollywood's basically going to lose a year. All of Hollywood.
Yeah, because it's putting everything behind.
Yeah.
And we're talking like shows on streaming and everything. Like Stranger Things and all those things they said are going to be behind now because they can't do anything. So you have all this stuff that's already made now. I mean, to me, it would make more sense to spread it out over next year because that's when we're going to have a shortage. Or put it on to streaming because they're going to have a shortage. But I don't know.
Yeah, so this is why they're mad, because basically this and look, I can understand it to an extent, but this is the year that there were supposed to be so many female-led, female-directed movies, and everything went to hell in a handbasket.
But they're still coming out.
That's
the kicker. They're still coming, but they're not coming when they want them to. That sounds like a problem. They're not coming when they want them to, which was this year, 2020, Year of the Woman. It's still going to be the women. The women are still going to have their movies. The movies are still coming. They're just not coming when you want them to. Women is not usually the problem with that. I'm just saying.
That yeah. So yeah, that's what the issue is. So I don't think, look, if they're worried about it looking bad, I don't think anybody's gonna care. Look, Hollywood's this year is a mulligan. Hollywood's completely screwed all the way around, and the women aren't coming.
That's right, and they're mad about it.
And they're mad because
I get the frustration. I do. I mean, I'd be frustrated too. But it's just like the movies are coming. The problem is they're worried that because they're going to be piled and sandwiched between so many things, there's not going to be room for them to do well.
So then we go into a complete history of all the. Like, I would not bring Catwoman into this conversation. A complete history
of the movies that appeal to their narrative.
Hunger Games. Yeah. Okay, that's the thing too. Look, Twilight and Hunger Games did really, really well. Why are they saying this is not a thing? Anyway. Oh yeah,
I want to bring this up too. I have to bring this up. So according to Bob Iger's book, The Ride of a Lifetime, he faced roadblocks from Marvel Comics and getting both Black Panther and Captain Marvel to the screen. Okay, and then someone telling him female superheroes never drive big box office. Well, isn't this interesting? I found this incredibly interesting because if you recall, when Captain Marvel came out, that's when all these new rules started applying to Rotten Tomatoes to protect Captain Marvel. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, no, that's just coincidence. Right out, and Iger has a book saying that what they had to do to get the things done. And then all these seats were sold for empty theaters. And he made the comment, females never drive the box office, even though other female films have. There was all this weird stuff went around Captain Marvel, and then you find out that Iger wrote a whole thing about how he had to fight to get that out there. You think that's a coincidence? That, no matter what, it couldn't fail. No matter what, you weren't allowed to not like, you had to like Captain Marvel. You weren't allowed to not like it.
Yeah, because it sounds like Captain Marvel was his baby. Yeah,
it's like it was protected. Everybody kept joking. Why is Carol protected? Here's why, and it's in the book. So if you had questions about whether or not maybe you were imagining things, hell no, you weren't.
You weren't, because Bob Iger wanted to be the man to make Captain. I could just see him with his CEO brain being like, well, it's called the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we have a Captain Marvel. And we need a woman to lead, so let's make Captain Marvel the reason the Marvel Universe is the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody kept joking about how everything was being changed just to promote Captain Marvel. Why would they do that? Apparently they did it because Iger was concerned it wouldn't perform. And I'm just saying, where did all these trolls on YouTube channels come from that suddenly appeared around the time of Captain Marvel? Interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of them overlapped with the trolls that were attacking YouTubers for Star Wars opinions, Disney theme park opinions, and we mentioned before the other day, now it's not across the board because we've had people, jump us about Disney stuff here and there, but not to the extent before the shutdown. We had, every time we had any kind of opinion on Star Wars, Captain Marvel, or Disney theme parks, out of the woodwork would crawl all these trolls, and they would just kind of overtake the comment section, and that has, since the shutdown, since the money got turned off, kind of stopped.
Yeah, well, there's some of them are there, but most of them aren't. And here's the thing, too, about the Captain Marvel issue. They owned Alita, too, but Alita came in with the Fox deal, which they kind of, like, poo-pooed on all their Fox movies. Look what happened with Dark Phoenix and everything. Yeah. They kind of just, like, let them... So... They weren't gonna champion for Alita when they were. There's this whole dynamic of Alita and Captain Marvel were in contest with each other, which they never should have been because that was just stupid. Well, isn't that interesting? Disney's pushing Captain Marvel over everything else. Of course they'll tank Alita to promote Captain Marvel because they were tanking all this Fox stuff.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, it's going to be crowded. It doesn't matter if they're female-led movies or not. It's going to be crowded, and this is going to affect everybody. Just be damn happy Mulan is not going up against Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
That's right. I was actually thinking a lot of these movies, though, if they were out on digital, I could rent them like I would pay for tickets. I'd watch a lot of these. Where if I had to go to the theater, I'll wait until I can buy it or rent it on digital later. I'm not gonna go to the theater for it.
Yeah, I would watch Mulan on digital. I'm not gonna make a special trip out to go see Mulan.
Right, like I'm saying, a lot of these, I would, if I don't want to go to the theaters because I'm worried about it, I would gladly watch them at home and I'd give them the money. I'm just pointing that out.
Even in a year where female-led films will most likely still dominate the box office, they're still gonna lose.
That's right.
But we talked about it. I mean, I'm sorry.
So is everybody. Everybody's losing.
Everybody is losing.
And my next thing is, when there's all these issues around the world, people are losing their jobs, unemployment is an all-time high, people don't know what they're going to do, they run out of money for different programs and all this other stuff. And they're worried about, well, women aren't going to perform at the box office. Well, you know what? Most people aren't concerned about that right now.
No. And we're gonna see this, I think, with journalism just in general. There's gonna be a culling. I think a lot of these websites aren't gonna survive.
Do you know where I see a lot of the women that actually matter and we should be concerned about? Women on the front lines. You see doctors and nurses and essential workers, and a lot of them are women. You should be more worried about those people than you should about, well, maybe this director won't get her due. Oh, I didn't like Birds of Prey. Well, you know what? Who gives a shit right now?
That director cashed her multi-million-dollar check while other women are probably losing their jobs or putting their lives in danger,
right,
helping other people.
If you're gonna be worried about women and focused on women, maybe you should focus on those women.
I can't top that. I think this is a good place to end it.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
So we're gonna wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.